there guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video. And today's video is going to be a little bit different, and for many reasons why. One of the reasons is that I'm gonna do a little thing called story time. And I think I've done this before here and there. If I have, I'll leave annotations to those videos at the end of this video of other previous story times I've mentioned before. So that's one reason why this is going to be different. Second reason is it's just going to be mainly me talking to you guys, talking to the camera, talking to you people watching this video, and just sort of hearing me out and kind of just listening to this little story I have for you guys. And the third reason is since we are in basically Star Wars month, I figured I'm gonna do something different, because I could have done, because I could have easily done a review I could have done a Star Wars movie review, I could have done a Star Wars TV show, I could have done a Star Wars comic, I could have done a Star Wars video game, I could have done something Star Wars related with merchandise or a review or a live stream or something like that, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll do that another time. Maybe I'll save it for next May the 4th. Maybe I'll save that for next year's Revenge of the 5th. Or heck, if you're like me and you celebrate Return of the 6th, so you have 3 days of Star Wars to celebrate. So you have May the 4th, you have May 5th, which is Revenge of the 5th, and you have May 6th, which is Return of the 6th. So like Return of the Jedi, Return of the 6th. So I celebrate all 3 of those days. I know not a lot of people know Return of the 6th, but I celebrate Return of the 6th. So that's just my little thing. But if you guys celebrate that too, thank you. But anyways, yeah, I could do all that stuff, and maybe I will have a stream for you guys hopefully tomorrow. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do something Star Wars related. We'll see if my computer decides to work tomorrow. Hopefully it starts working today, and it starts working tomorrow. Fingers crossed. But let's get into kind of a different thing I want to go into. And that is kind of the story behind why I love Star Wars. So, and I mean like Star Wars in general, because let's face it, I'm not gonna lie and sugarcoat it that Star Wars isn't always the best thing, but as a whole, it's just one of the things that I was brought up on and kind of just, okay, I'm gonna sound very like cliche, I'm gonna sound a little bit whatever, but I grew up on it. It was one of the things that I was first introduced to. Like as a kid, when I was younger, that was one of the first things I got into, like early on. Like, because there's been many times I've mentioned the fact that, I've gotten into various of things like Disney, Marvel, DC, Kaiju, specifically Godzilla, some Power Ranger stuff, collecting merchandise, all this other stuff out the wazoo. It's true. Star Wars was one of the first things I grew up with. And I don't know if it was the first thing, but it was one of the first things, because I remember when I was younger, before being introduced to the Star Wars movies, my dad gave me pretty much all the Star Wars toys. And all the old vintage toys that I have, whether you've seen them in videos or have not seen them in videos, a lot of the old figures that I own are pretty much hand-me-downs. They were handed down to me, they were given to me as I got older, so I got a lot of the stuff, like the Star Wars cases, the old Star Wars cases. Like I have 2 Star Wars cases filled with Star Wars figures. I have that top drawer right there filled with Star Wars stuff. Wait. Yeah, that top drawer. Because the second drawer is Power Rangers and the third drawer is Transformers. You may not see it, but there's subtle Star Wars things I have that, whether they're in my thumbnails or they're in my videos, you can, like, I have Star Wars stuff. I wear Star Wars stuff. So it's just been a big part of what has made me, me. But I do remember it being the second thing I grew up with, because when I was younger, the first thing was probably Disney, just watching like animated movies and Disney classics. The second thing was Star Wars. And the first thing, my introduction to Star Wars was, at first, it was the toys. But I think in between when I got these figures, because when I was younger, I didn't know who the hell they were. But in between when I got these toys was when I was introduced to the movies. I started watching, obviously, the original trilogy, and I watched the prequels. I don't remember the order I watched them in, but I just remember sitting through them and just, at first, like, I was just like, wow, this stuff's cool. And at a young age, you're just like, wow, this stuff is cool. But as you get older and you start to like watch it more, you have a more appreciation of it. And that's what happens when you get older, obviously. When you're younger, you're kind of like, okay, you're not focused on a lot. But once you get older, you get more mature, your brain starts to think like I said, more appreciation for details and the things that you watch, you analyze kind of in a way. But that's pretty much where I started, was the movies. And then right from there was Clone Wars. That was my third thing to Star Wars, was Clone Wars. Because during when I was watching the prequels, and probably when I watched all 6 of those movies, was the Clone Wars. So that was another big introduction and big impact for me as Star Wars, in terms of Star Wars stuff. I think from that point on, everything else just kind of kept going, and as I kept getting older, I just started appreciating a lot more and started to realize a lot of the things that I like and dislike. And yeah, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that Star Wars is perfect. I mean, in general, it is one of the most iconic things in the world. It is very inspiring to others. It's very influential to others. You can tell in filmmaking, in filmmakers, a lot of people were inspired to want to do stuff like Star Wars, and they may not go to show, but obviously you see things in sci-fi that were probably either in comparison or inspired by Star Wars. So something like Star Trek has always been in comparison to Star Wars. Even things that aren't so space opera-like, like things maybe like Firefly or Blade Runner or The Matrix. Also the other sci-fi flicks that may or may have not taken notes from Star Wars. As a whole, Star Wars just really kind of brings a lot of people together, and many fans, whether you're a fan of the original trilogy, whether you're a fan of the prequels, whether you're a fan of the new trilogy, some people out there actually love the new trilogy. It doesn't matter where your first introduction to Star Wars was, we can all kind of come together and at least agree on something that we like Star Wars in one way, shape, or form. Whether it was the toys, whether it was the video games, whether it was the comics, whether it was the books, the canon stuff, the non-canon stuff. Because there's still those books that obviously aren't canon. Like, for example, Disney may or may not consider the aftermath of Return of the Jedi as canon. So the Thrawn trilogy may or may not be canon. I think it's canon now that Thrawn was introduced to Rebels. And even a show like Rebels, even shows like Clone Wars, even the Clone Wars TV show that was, I can't remember the writer of that other Clone Wars show, but the animated one, the hand-drawn one, that looks very similar to Samurai Jack-esque. I forgot what that one's called. Even if you grew up on that, no matter what foundation you grew up on, someone at one point or another has seen Star Wars. And we could all, like I said, we could all agree, at least we can like it for whatever thing, and at least see the different generations and kind of perspectives. Because like I said, there are people out there that actually like the new trilogy. I mean, I'm not on that side. I like The Force Awakens, and then the 2 afterwards kind of are very up and down, hit and miss in the areas, and are very gray, but I can see why people like them. One of my best friends, Jesse, and a few other people I know, I'm gonna give a shout out. Shout out to my buddy, Mastodon Knight, and then my bro, Reese on Discord. Those two, and plus my friend Jesse, they like Rise of Skywalker. Reese and Mastodon Knight love The Last Jedi, and I remember even actually having a conversation with them yesterday when we were talking about May the 4th on Discord and on Traveling Power Ranger Fans live stream, and you guys can go check that out if you want. Perhaps I might leave maybe an annotation. I'm hoping to maybe leave some links or annotations after all this. But nonetheless, so we all talked about May the 4th, since it was all May the 4th. That's the big Star Wars day. And then Revenge of the 5th being the second biggest Star Wars day for us all. And ironically enough, I'm wearing Kylo Ren. But we all kind of were saying where just Star Wars, all things Star Wars, whatever we were just talking about. And they mentioned they loved The Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi. And I can say I agree with them. I don't like them, but I could at least kind of respect their opinion. It's an example of fans out there that actually like that trilogy. And there are probably other people out there that like their new trilogy, so no hate to you guys. And no hate to anyone that likes the prequels, or if you like all Star Wars, to be honest. Because I know many people, or a few people, that actually like all the movies. You can like any of the 9 that we have. Heck, some people have come to appreciate Rogue One a lot more. Some people, I don't know if I would say this or not, but some people might actually like Solo, you know? You never know with people, because it's a whole big diverse thing. And I kind of hope for a Star Wars community, we can all at least just respect one another's opinions on if we do like a certain thing or not. Sure, we're gonna have our moments where it's like, oh, how could you kind of like Attack of the Clones? Or how could you say something as silly as Luke Skywalker's overrated, or Jar Jar Binks is the most hilarious character in the world. Like, things that we will be diverse on. But at least we can all still, at the end of the day, agree to disagree, or at least respect one another's opinions. And even if things are very diverse right now, at least we can all agree on one thing, that we all love Star Wars, but then we have other things we can all agree on. We all love Clone Wars as Star Wars fans. We all love Star Wars Rebels. We all love The Mandalorian so far, and what Disney's gonna give us afterwards with things like the Kenobi series, with Lando, with the Book of Boba Fett, with Ahsoka, with all these live action shows happening, with now the Bad Batch is going to be a big, awesome thing too. And after watching that yesterday, I have some thoughts on it. I might maybe do a review on the season, or maybe I'll do it just the one episode thing. Who knows? I'll debate about it next time, but we'll see. But that's going to be a big hit, especially it being Clone Wars related, and even it being a spin-off from Clone Wars. It's already got something very different to offer and a different perspective to offer, and that's gonna be another thing that people are going to like and really gonna be really into. So what better way to celebrate it all than with Star Wars? But this is just all, I know this is not making all sense on why I love Star Wars, but it's giving me more reasons why I'm appreciating Star Wars and loving Star Wars, because we can all kind of at least, like, at one point or another, kind of set aside the differences and just love something that we're all passionate about. The point I'm trying to get is all this will encompass and connect and interwove into why we all love Star Wars, and why I'm starting to really love Star Wars more and more and more. And I'm just, like I said, me being older means me appreciating things a lot more. And like I said, not sugarcoating that Star Wars, like all Star Wars movies are the best, but as a whole, it's been a great franchise, and just one thing that we can all kind of find something to like about. Whether it is those big space opera things, whether it is the action, whether it is the dialogue, whether it is our characters, whether it is the morals and the sort of more deeper, like, inspirations behind it. Because even though this feels very original and this feels like something we've never seen before when Star Wars was first made, it was very inspired by a lot of old sort of ancient ideas of religion, and also to ideas involving not just religion, but also kind of George Lucas was making Star Wars. He obviously took some inspiration from things like old films, like old westerns, old Japanese films, like old samurai-esque stories, and sort of like the ways of like the samurai and ronins and all this other things that kind of George Lucas took from other foreign countries and was inspired by. So a lot of the choreography, a lot of the fighting, a lot of all these things that we see were kind of taken, that even George was inspired to kind of use too. So even those little aspects like that, or it's the details and the work of the craftsmanship, of the practicalness of the effects, or even where the technology has come now with motion capture. Whatever it is, we can all, or it could be all the above. One way or another, we can all say we all love Star Wars. And like I said, this is just all basically everything here, with basically a cherry on top, whipped cream, all sorts of icing on a cake, saying that this is the many reasons why I love Star Wars. As a big fan of Star Wars, and in honor of May the 4th, and in celebration of Revenge the 5th, let me know in the comments, what is something you love about Star Wars, or what is a big fond memory you have of Star Wars? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash that button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day and every week. Make sure you ring that bell. I'll be doing new videos every day and every week. Share the video with your family and friends, all that good stuff and more. And also leave some suggestions in the comment section. As always, you name it, I'll look into it. I'll make sure I get to my suggestions too. And like I've said before, I'll say it again, I'm hoping to maybe do some live streams again. Like I said, my laptop needs to be fixed. Once that's fixed, then we can start doing more streams. Because I would like to do some more streams again, kind of like to get those back and rolling. But for now, I have a plethora of reviews coming out, and also the other things coming your way. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and may the Force be with you.